Universal Pictures buried a Hulk solo film deal that would have changed the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the reason they killed it is something both Universal and Disney have worked very hard to make sure you never fully understood. You remember The Incredible Hulk, 2008. Edward Norton, a real Marvel Studios production, a post-credits scene that planted the Avengers timeline like a seed in concrete. That film was the beginning of something. What you were never told is that its sequel was not just planned. It was actively developed, internally greenlit, and attached to a story that Marvel's own writers described as the most ambitious Hulk narrative ever conceived. It existed. It had a name. It had a budget range. And then Universal made a single financial decision that erased it from history. Here is how it started. In 2003, Universal Pictures licensed the Hulk character from Marvel for Ang Lee's cerebral, divisive adaptation. That film underperformed commercially, but Universal held onto something far more valuable than the film itself, a contractual right of first refusal on any future Hulk solo production. When Marvel Studios launched its shared universe in 2008, they needed Universal's cooperation to make The Incredible Hulk. They got it. But the price was burying the rights question under layers of studio language. Universal retained co-financing and distribution rights on any future Hulk standalone film. Marvel got their movie. Universal got a leash they intended to use forever. Then the Avengers happened. May 2012, $1 billion in 11 days. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, recast after Norton's contentious exit, became the breakout of the entire film. Audience research conducted internally by both studios in June 2012 showed Hulk polling as the single character viewers most wanted to see in a standalone film. That data landed on desks at both Marvel and Universal simultaneously. And here is where the buried deal begins. By late 2012, Marvel's development team was actively working on a treatment for what internal documents and trade coverage later confirmed was a World War Hulk adaptation. The beloved comic arc, where a manipulated, exiled Hulk returns to Earth to destroy the very heroes who betrayed him. The pitch was extraordinary. The budget discussed in preliminary talks ran between $180 and $220 million. Kevin Feige himself confirmed in a 2014 interview that the character's story potential was unlimited. What he did not say, could not say, was that the sequel was already being quietly assembled behind studio walls. Remember that signed framework? Here is where it died. The Incredible Hulk deal contained a clause that gave Universal the right to co-finance any Hulk solo production. And if they chose to co-finance, they kept worldwide distribution. The catch was the flip side of that clause. If Universal passed on co-financing, Marvel could not simply hand distribution to Disney. They would have to negotiate a revenue-sharing structure with Universal regardless. Universal's leverage was total. They could participate and profit, or step back and still profit through distribution fees. What they could not tolerate was Marvel making a Hulk film that bypassed them entirely. So when Disney acquired Marvel in 2009 and began consolidating distribution across the entire slate, Universal looked at the World War Hulk development and did something calculated and cold. They did nothing, deliberately. They declined to formally engage with co-financing discussions in 2013, which stalled Marvel's ability to greenlight the film internally. They did not say no. Saying no would have triggered a negotiation. They simply did not move. Every month the deal sat without Universal's participation. The production window narrowed. By mid-2014, Avengers, Age of Ultron was already in production, the MCU's Phase 3 slate was locking in, and the window for a standalone Hulk film that could organically lead into that story had closed. The World War Hulk treatment was shelved. The budget discussions stopped. Ruffalo's Banner became a supporting character, brilliant, essential, but always in someone else's film. And Universal kept their distribution rights without spending a single dollar producing the movie they killed. Here is what you lost. A World War Hulk film built on the post-Avengers goodwill, with Ruffalo fully inhabiting the role, directed into a story about institutional betrayal, and the cost of being used as a weapon. That is not just a good movie. That repositions the entire MCU's moral architecture. It makes every subsequent Avengers team-up film carry the weight of what those heroes did to Banner. It gives the franchise a genuinely dark chapter built on earned consequence. The Thor, Ragnarok version of Planet Hulk that eventually arrived in 2017, loved by audiences, genuinely fun, was a compressed consolation prize. The real version had years of runway and $220 million behind it. Universal chose a distribution fee over a legacy. And here is the question nobody has actually answered publicly. When the rights situation eventually resolves, when Disney's lawyers finally finish the negotiation that sources inside Marvel say has been ongoing since 2019, will they greenlight World War Hulk? Or has the MCU moved too far past the moment that story needed to exist? Because Universal is not the only studio sitting on a buried Marvel deal. There is a Fox property whose rights transferred to Disney in 2019 with a development file inside it that has never been discussed publicly. And that story is worse.